We're joined now by Brian Sheppard, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Indiana State Sycamores. Let's start out talking about Broc Rutter. What was his recruiting process like?
Yeah, so Broc came to our camp. He's one of the guys that became interested in Indiana State early, and he's a guy that came to our camp, and so we got to work with him in the classroom. You know, we were on the board, kind of talk with him what his offense was like, football IQ, stuff like that. Really, really sharp. And so because he did come to camp, and we got to see him on the board in the meeting rooms, then we got to see him on the field. We got to get after him a little bit, see that he's a very coachable guy, and you know, through that whole process, he comes from a really, really good school. Neuqua Valley up in the Chicago area. He's a guy that is big-time leader, you know, and that's kind of what we look for. So the whole recruitment process with him, from evaluating him as a quarterback on film, and he made the key decision really to get to camp, because that's where we get to get our hands on him. The head coach, the offensive line coach, everybody kind of gets to get after the quarterback a little bit. You like to see kind of how he is, you know, kind of how he responds to criticism and how coachable he is. So he got there, got to camp. Recruiting process was great, and then he made the effort to come to a few games as far as on his own with his parents, which they have a big time. You know, they got a lot going on, they're scheduling, so they made it a priority to get down here, and really it was just a great fit. So overall, with the family, with Broc, with how he translates, the fit couldn't be better, really.
Well, good. Now talk a little bit about how important it is to get a quarterback who has those leadership qualities.
Yeah, so one of the big things, everybody looks for the height, weight, everybody looks for the arm strength and all these things that are measurables, that are vitals. The big thing that's underrated, in my opinion, is leadership. And what kind of work ethic the kid has, because you never know. You know, I mean, there's guys that can throw it 75 yards that are sitting on a couch somewhere not playing. So one of the big things, being a coach's son, and my dad being a coach for a long time, it's a deal where he kind of instilled in me the fact that guys got to be able to play for him. He has to be able to raise the level of play of everybody on the team right when he steps on the field. And we feel like that's what Broc does. He does a great job with his teammates. His coaches rave about him. The other teams rave about him. They just say he's unbelievable as a leader. So one thing we're looking for is a guy that when he steps on the field, he knows his job, and it's not enough to do things right. He's got to bring everybody else with him. So we felt like that's a guy that we feel could take us to the next level, you know, down the road in the future. And so his leadership's something that really jumped out at us, you know, early on, and that's something that we look for.
Now, where do you see him kind of fitting into this offensive scheme you guys have?
Yeah, so really right now, to me, we had a second-team all-conference quarterback in Mike Parrish, and I feel like Broc is kind of a young Mike Parrish type guy. He is a lot like him as far as his football IQ. He's a very smart guy, you know, knows the offense inside and out. He's going to make guys right, you know, and he's gonna roll with the punches. He's a guy that's gonna, you know, he's a leader, so he's gonna lift people up. He also just offensive scheme-wise, he makes all the intermediate throws. He makes the throws downfield. He could throw the ball with a lot of velocity. He could throw the ball with touch. You know, he follows the golden rule of quarterback, which is only throw the ball as hard as you need to. So, but mainly he's accurate and he's high football IQ. You know, people don't realize that a lot of times decisions separate quarterbacks, and that's one thing that separated Broc is he does an amazing job with football IQ, with making decisions, with getting the ball to the right spot at the right time, being accurate downfield, you know, and he also does a good job checking the ball down. I've seen him plenty of times in his game film where you don't see a lot of high school quarterbacks that just check the ball down a bunch. So he does that, and I think he fits in great with all the intermediate throws, with the play action stuff we do, the quick game. But we put a lot on the quarterback, so football IQ and mental capacity have to be there, and he's spot on for us.
Seems to have a lot of the intangibles that you would need to be in that position.
No question, and that's the other thing. I mean, his character off the field is outstanding, and that's something that's so important to us and Coach Sanford. That's one of his. He's big on the core values, on the high character, iron sharpens iron type, you know, proverbs. So when we got him in and we saw all of his intangibles, he's a good student. He cares about things. He opens the door for his mom. You know, he plays on time. He calls back. He follows through. That's one of the big deals. So many people don't follow through, and then when they don't, they make excuses. And it's, you know, excuses are results, not both. So we feel like he's a guy that has all the leadership ability, the intangibles. He's on time. He cares about things, and those are things. You know, they always say you could throw the ball to a knucklehead or hand it to a knucklehead, but you can't snap it to a knucklehead. So he's a guy that, for us, intangibles are awesome. He does a great job with that. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing that. Now, he clearly felt a really strong draw to Indiana State. He committed early, correct?
He did, yeah. He committed when he came to camp. Really, the big thing was Coach Natali, our O-line coach, recruits Chicago, his area. He did a great job with the recruitment process. He went out there and really evaluated him on the field, off the field, got him to us. We were very interested in him. We did, we do our due diligence, did all of our research on Broc, and then we're able to go to the school. I was able to go to the school along with some of our other coaches, home visits, all that kind of stuff. And then he, but before that, he came to camp, and that's like we touched on earlier. By coming to camp and him seeing how we function, how we going through drills with me, going through things with our head coach, and just the whole feel. I mean, that's one of the biggest things we have here. I've moved a lot of times. I've moved like 18 times, and it's one of the big things I've realized. It's not where you're at, it's who you're with. And he realized there were a lot of good coaches here, and then he saw the close bond with the players early on. So he ended up being a commit for us early on, I believe in July, and that just got stronger and stronger. And some guys tried to come in and swam other directions, but he stayed firm with his commitment. He did a great job, and he committed early, we committed to him. And so many times guys make commitments and then they decommit, and then they go somewhere else, and then so on and so forth. It's like, some of those guys, you just wonder, about that kind of thing. It shouldn't be commitment. It should be, the soft verbal and all that. Broc was a firm commitment from the beginning, and so were we. So.
Well, it sounds like he also comes from an athletic background. His father is the AD at Bishop McNamara.
Yeah, so his dad's the AD, and he coaches the women's basketball team, and he does a great job. And he's a coach, so Broc's a coach's son, and and his mom's awesome too. His mom travels a lot, and so with his dad being the AD, bringing him up in the right way, being a coach, we feel like that's been awesome for us, and that it shows in Broc because he does have all those intangibles, and he does have all that natural character and leadership ability, but it's been honed by his parents. So I mean, he's been brought up right, and we're glad to have him.
You have any fun stories for us about him?
Stories about Broc. So Broc went. So I asked him about what was going on in December. Touching base with him, all that kind of stuff. Went to see him, and just asked him what he was doing for Christmas, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing this, doing that, blah blah blah, and so he was about done, and I was like, oh well, that's good, you got some stuff, that's nice, and then he's like, oh, and I'm going to the Rose Bowl, and I was like, oh, you almost left that out, huh? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to the Rose Bowl, and some of my family members are kind of upset they don't get to go, but it's a deal where he went with his dad, and so yeah, so come the Rose Bowl time, he's sending me pictures and stuff like that, and he's kind of jealous he got to be in Southern California and see the Rose Bowl. So that was a fun thing for him and his dad to do. But it's funny because he's such a good dude. He's such a good guy, and he's kind of one of the guys. And that's what you got to be as a quarterback. They gotta, you're not above people. You're not, harping at them. You're not this and that. But you're a guy they'd go to battle with. And so he raises the level of play, and it's just funny that hey, what'd you get for Christmas? And he goes over things and almost forgets that he's going to the Rose Bowl. So. But.
Well, hopefully he'll be taking you guys to a lot of playoffs for the MVC and whatnot. So we look forward to seeing him on the field next year.